Breaking news this hour, the government has decided not to renew Zoomlion contracts. Joining me in studio with more is Samuel Kojo-Brace, who has the latest information. What are we picking up, Samuel?
Well, what we do know is that, and let me just set a background to the story. We do know that Manasseh Azura-Awene, who is an investigative journalist, wrote to the president concerning the Zoomlion contract in April. The president is now replying, stating that on the expiration of the contract, the president says the contract between Youth Employment Agency and Zoomlion Ghana Limited has expired and will not be renewed. 2, he says all payment made to Zoomlion after the contract expiration will be thoroughly audited. No further payment will be authorized without proper verification, and any unauthorized payment will be recovered. Then he says Cabinet has directed that future sanitation contract be subjected to a competitive procurement process. Rather than one national contract, there should be a regional or district-based tenders for private firms. This could reduce cost through competitive pricing and stimulate innovation as companies compete on service quality to secure contract. A cabinet subcommittee will develop the modalities for implementing this. Then he says, Manasseh speaks about how much we pay the sweepers. This letter says, with probable cost savings, the government intends to increase the sweeper fees to a more livable income. So the sweepers do now can anticipate a proper or better payment for them. He says fumigation contract. Now, the contract that have not been performed satisfactorily will be reviewed and, where appropriate, terminated in accordance with their terms upon the advice of the Attorney General. And this letter is signed by Callistus Mahama.
Wow, this just coming in. Zoomlion contract is not going to be renewed by the government. Samuel Brace telling us about this. I'm told we are joined by Manasseh Azura-Awene, who has been following the story all through. Quick reaction from you, Manasseh.
Daryl, this is one of the best pieces of news I have received in my journalism career, because I first broke this story on Joy FM in 2013 and have since continued with updates, with advocacies in social media and then main media platforms. And it appeared nobody was prepared to listen until His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama took this decisive step. I can only be thankful to him for this, because it's going to save Ghana some money, it's going to improve our sanitation, and also, more importantly, the people who go out every day to battle with filth will get something, a livable fees, as the president put it.
Well, Brace just laid out some of the concerns raised by government for which it took that decision. For the benefit of our audience, what are the questions raised about the Zoomlion contract?
One has to do with the fees paid for this contract. The arrangement has been that the government would give Zoomlion 850 cedis per month, according to the contract. And then Zoomlion would pay the sweepers 250 cedis and then keep 600 cedis per sweeper as management fees. And we're looking at 45,000 people on record. On the ground, we didn't have that number, but that's how much Zoomlion was billing the state. So the company would make about 27 million cedis every month as management fees, but those shipping went home with practically nothing. There has also been the issue when the people don't show up to ship, many of them because the money was not good and they could be in arrears owed for up to a year. So the assemblies had to use their own internally generated funds to employ sweepers to go and sweep the markets when Zoomlion is paid every month for the same work. And this and many others. And I also mentioned the mode of contracting and also fumigation and other contracts within the sector. And I think those are some of the issues the president addressed in addition to this one-year contract.
I mean, you have been investigating this for years. What has Zoomlion, what have they had to say in defense of the questions raised?
The major thing Zoomlion has often said is that, well, these people don't work for up to 8 hours a day. And we all know sweepers. The multimedia group has sweepers, cleaners, some of whom come very early in the morning before we come to work, they are gone, the ministry. That's how sweepers work. But the question is, if someone doesn't work for 8 hours, for which reason you think he or she should be paid 250 cedis a month, why do you as a company take 600 cedis to manage a 250 cedis worth of work? And we are not looking at just one person, but you claim to have 45,000 and you take 27 million cedis every month to supervise people who you claim don't work for that much. So this has been one of the issues. And also the company has been saying that the government doesn't pay every month. But it is instructive to note that this contract is such that if the government doesn't pay for 3 months, Zoomlion charges interest on the arrears the government owes the company. Last year, for instance, it charged 90 million Ghana cedis arrears. That's the interest on arrears. So contractors can sometimes be owed up to 5 years or so, but Zoomlion, after 3 months, the government must pay interest on the arrears. And when Zoomlion delays in paying the sweepers and the government pays this interest, it doesn't translate to the sweepers benefiting from this interest. So it has always been a mess. The assemblies didn't have control or don't have control over these contracts. Remember, they used to be very effective, even doing this in summer concept. But when Zoomlion came, all of that was collapsed and they gave the contracts out.
I have just about a minute. We're yet to hear an official response from Zoomlion to this. But I guess the question people would be asking also is why now? Why did it take so long for this decision to be reached? If there were questions about it, one would think that there would be an audit of the operations of Zoomlion to really hold them to task.
Well, I can simply say, and many people who know how these things work, it appears the government officials who have handled these deals have been compromised and they are not prepared to do what is right because there have been enough pieces of evidence. Remember the JIDA report President Mahama commissioned in 2013, page 131 of that report, which is online, outlines the anomalies with this contract. So it is it's been late, but better late than never. And all the same, I'm grateful to President Mahama that he's taken this step.
All right. Thank you so much, investigative journalist Manasseh Azurawene, for joining us as we continue to digest this breaking news. Really, that Zoomlion contract will not be renewed by this current government. The sweepers' fees would be increased. We will have more on this developing story, I bet, in our subsequent bulletins. Don't go anywhere.